Pick up your gear and open your chests. Throw on your armor and head out on a quest. Hey, hey, it's a brand new day. On the Sword Coast, your allies will help with blades and bows and magic as well. Hey, hey, heroes on their way. Fighting forever against overwhelming odds. Fighting together in favor of multiple gods. Idle champions of the forgotten realms. Idle champions, adventure never ends. Idle champions, get you all out there. Idle champions, you will set again. Idle champions. From Waterdeep to Icewind Dale, head out to Chull or Shadowfell, hey, hey. Together we stay. Walk to the monsters, walk to the boss, walk to the right, it's never a loss, hey, hey. Bad guys to slay. Fighting forever against overwhelming odds. Fighting together in favor of multiple gods. Idle champions of the forgotten realms. Idle champions, adventure never ends. Idle champions, get you all out there. Idle champions, you will set again. Idle champions.
Hello, everybody. So I'm like, did my client load in? Yep. Welcome to another edition of Gaarawarr's Guide, the tutorial show, where I talk about stuff. That's what happens here. At least for the first hour, I'll talk at you, and then for the second hour, I'll answer whatever questions you had. That's kind of the way this show goes. So it's not a full Q&A; it's a partial Q&A. Today's topic, it's Gaarawarr's Guide to Liar's Night, Year 6. So we're going to be talking about the events in general. We're going to talk about Kent. We're going to talk about Esmeralda. We're going to talk about Brig. We're going to talk about all of this stuff. So if you have questions about those, at any point in time, you can throw them in chat with question : as you can see in the box way down below, beforehand, so that Martin can grab them from chat. Martin will grab them and put them in a little document over here for me so that in the second half of the show, I can go back and answer them all. Yeah. That's how this works. So I guess we're just going to dive right in. Never fails. When I turn the bright lights on, my eyes start watering. I had them on for like 5 minutes and it's like, no, we're fine. Stream's on. No, now you're going to start watering. All right. Campaign stuff, events, yada, yada, yada. Normally on the left side, campaign banner, you'll see like it'll start at the top with the Grand Tour of the Stone Forest, right? And you have all your campaigns over here. But when an event arrives, right at the top is always the event. The event takes priority, folks. It is a limited time only. You've got like 12 days. 12 days. It's like spurt plus one. So you want to focus primarily on an event when an event rolls around. When it starts off, you're going to come over here. There's going to be an adventure thing. These aren't going to say free plays. They'll say adventures. And as the reward for each of them, it will be the champion that they're named here. Esmeralda, Brig, Kent. Those are the three that are arriving in Liar's Night Year 6. Obviously, there are only 3 champions that arrive in any event. There's a brand new one, and then 2 return from the past to haunt us. And then all the ones that were from previous years, those are only available in time gates. Those are only available through time gates. So, when you start this off, you will have 0 favor. The favor is going to be different depending on the event. You'll see it up here. You'll have to start at 0, and you got to earn your own from starting. But the thing is, events are easier to push in than regular campaigns. So you can earn a lot of favor very quickly. You can also, comparatively, you can also push deeper than you might normally because A, you're earning a lot of favor, but also just in general, like, enemies have less health. So keep that in mind. Each specific champion is going to have their own, that you're unlocking has their own formation layout. So this is Esmeralda's, this is Briggs, and this is Kent's. And those can have different, benefits, depending. Some will be easier to push in than others. Like, Kent's is not great for new players, just straight up. Not great to push real far in. Not even really great to do regular stuff in. Because a brand new player isn't going to have necessarily the tanks or the support to really flesh out this formation in a way that's functional. Mid-game and veteran players, shouldn't be a big issue, but for brand new players, it becomes challenging. Whereas formations like these two are much easier for newer players to build on. You have a couple starting tanks, and buffing the column right behind them is fine. So you can throw, lots of things in here and do good stuff. This one has a lot more adjacencies, so if you want a lot of adjacencies, you're still, just a couple tanks in the front line and then lots of adjacencies to work with. Yeah, you can make both of these work as a newer player for pushing deep. So when you're trying to do deep favor runs to make the event stuff easier, aim for Esmeralda or Briggs. Try them each out. Try to do a deep favor run on each one and see which one seems to be working best for the champions that you have. With Kent's stuff, you're probably just going to try to knock out his variants and then pick a different place to do favor stuff. The other thing that we see up here on the right hand, top right, is we see Liar's Tarts. What are Liar's Tarts? These are event tokens, because everything you do in an event costs tokens. There's a cost for it. So you earn event tokens at a fixed rate. There is 0 way to speed up that rate. 0. It doesn't matter how many parties you're running. It doesn't matter if you've got speed champions in or speed potions or a speed core. None of that matters. It's ticking off 1 token every 25 seconds of server side time. And it doesn't care about your speed shenanigans. There is one way to gain extra tokens. The big way to gain extra tokens is just open bounty contracts. Bounty contracts give time-based rewards. So generally, what people do is they save all their bounty contracts for events. They only open them during events. You ignore the silver requirement, like the silver reward. Just pop them for all those sweet tokens. And then you will use those tokens to do stuff and get lots of gear for your champions. Now, over the course, even if you don't have any bounty contracts, let's say you'd open them all before the event, that's okay. Over the course of the event, of the 12 days, you'll get enough contracts, or event tokens, Liar's Tarts in this case, to actually be able to do everything. Like to do all the unlock adventures, to do all the variants, and even to do some free plays for each one. The key is you want to make sure that you're using your tokens efficiently, and not wasting them. And by wasting them, I mean trying to do something that's very difficult, like one of the harder variants, without it showing as difficulty easy. That's the green color first, and reading the restrictions and knowing that this is something you can complete. Because it charges you the tokens up front. If you fail, you lose the tokens, and you just gotta bail. So let's take a look at what we have to do. So again, each champion's going to have their own layout. They're also going to have their own variants. However, the enemies and the bosses you fight are going to be the same. Those are the Liar's Night event has a set storyline that runs, but each champion that arrived with Liar's Night has their own formation layout to attack those challenges. So when you first start off, it's going to be very inexpensive to do the unlock adventures. I believe it's like 25 for the older champions, and then 100 for the newest. They're not charging you more. They're not like, hey, let's multiply the price for the newest champion. It's actually that they're giving you a discount on the older ones. I guess you could say either way, but originally the prices that for Kent are what we in year one of events paid for all of our champions. So they just started in year 3. They started discounting the past stuff. So enjoy the discounts. It's going to be freer. It's going to be cheaper to do all of the older champion stuff, and that's just because there's a fixed amount of tokens available. They want you to be able to get lots of stuff. Now, once you complete it, you'll see free play like this. Free plays start off at a 500 token cost. Every time you do one, the cost goes up by 500, but it caps at 2,500. So this cost here at 2,500, that's the most you'll ever have to pay for a free play. And this is important to note because you do free plays for gear. As you can see, there's this black and white chest here with a question mark as the reward, even though the tooltip doesn't tell you that you get that you still after 6 years. The tooltip doesn't tell you that hey, there's a chest reward here. The visual does. So basically, all you have to do is complete area 50, and close, and open the thing, complete the adventure, and your reward will either be a silver chest or a gold chest for whatever champion's free play you ran. There's no way to increase your odds of getting a gold. You just have to complete 50 over and over and over again with your tokens, and just run the numbers game. The odds are 1 in 3 that you're going to get a gold chest. But if you don't get it on one of the first 3 runs, they have a pity timer for you on events, and the pity timer is 4. It's real easy. So you're guaranteed to get a gold chest every 4 free plays for the same champion in an event. So you just want to speed through them. You just want to run to 50, complete, see what your luck got you, and just burn your tokens. Once you've done all the variants, unlocked all the champions, done all the variants, the rest of your event, you're just burning your tokens. Every time you get 2,500, you're doing another free play. Yeah, that's it. Let's look at the variants. So, once you've done a variant in an event, you'll never have to do it again, ever in an event. You can't. Patrons don't apply to events yet. Sanny, contact me for Gaarawarr event patron. I would just love that. But yeah, you can't redo event variants outside of a time gate. Time gates, it's going to give you one random variant, but we're talking about events today. So here we go with Esmeralda. Esmeralda is our monster hunter, our Vistana monster hunter. The Devil's Scourge. So we're dealing with Strahd stuff. Complete area 75. The area requirements for the variants are always going to be the same. It's 75, it's 125, and it's 175. The cost for each variant goes up and they get harder. So this is why you want to make sure that you're showing this is at least easy, and then maybe even adding some extra favor just to make it slam dunkable. Favor in events, favor is the big stick that you can beat most obstacles with. Every obstacle, frankly, if you can get enough favor. The target you're shooting for at minimum to make the third, like the hardest variant, show as green is about EO8 favor. That's scientific notation. If you're on PC, press Y to turn on scientific notation if you don't already have it on. It's in the settings menu for everybody else. It just makes it easier for us to compare numbers and give you goals and stuff. So EO8 for here, although I personally recommend if you can get to E10, newer players might not be able to, but if you can get to E10 doing free plays before you attempt any variants, you should just be able to roll right through these. Okay, So let's talk about the Devil Scourge. Strahd von Zarovich sent his zombies to follow Esmeralda from Barovia. Strahd zombies appear in each wave. These zombies deal 100% additional damage, do not drop gold, and do not count towards quest progress. So this is kind of a swarm variant, what I call swarm variant. They're throwing a lot more enemies at you, but they're not rewarding you for it in any way. Now Esmeralda though is getting rewarded for this because she has a feature we'll talk about in a moment, where the more undead kills happen, the stronger she gets. So you're actually feeding Esmeralda here if you're using Esmeralda in this variant, which I recommend. But otherwise, it's real straightforward. 100% extra damage from enemies isn't that big of a deal, folks. The Devil Knocks, the second variant. The mists of Ravenloft encroach upon us, making it harder for the champions to see. This actually rolls a wave of mist over the right-hand portion of your screen, and literally makes it so that you can't attack stuff until they get out of the mist, I believe is the way it works. Plus, enemies move 100% faster and drop 99% less gold, so they're really racing at you. They're running for your team. And they're dropping less gold. Now, 99% gold may scare new players, but don't be scared. Don't be scared. Don't panic. You just make sure you got a towel with you. But you shouldn't be scared. 99%, because we're dealing with large numbers in this game. 99% in scientific notation is just a hair under EO2 of a reduction in your gold find. So if you've got, like I said, E10 favor, that's a large bonus to your gold find, and an EO2 reduction isn't that big of a deal. You'll still be able to get through right away. Right away. So again, just, hit it with the favor stick. You should be fine. That doesn't always, I want to make sure that clear that is a thing that you can do in events and time gates, is hit it with the favor stick to get through difficult stuff. Not always the case in regular campaigns, for reasons, but in events, yeah, they try to make events not super difficult so that you can just smack it with the favor stick. The Devil Esmeralda starts in the formation and can't move. They mean you can't move Esmeralda around. And I don't think you could remove her either. There's just bad wording here. She's right here where this C is in the formation, at the top of the second column, which is exactly where she wants to be. You're going to want your DPS in the same column with her because she buffs in the same column. So yeah, this is fine. They're just teaching you how to use Esmeralda. Only champions in Esmeralda's column can deal damage. Yeah. So progress is going to be a little slower in an early part of your run because everyone isn't killing things. But later on, it's not changing anything because your primary DPS should be in that column anyway. All other champions have their DPS disabled, but their formation abilities are active, which is fine. Vampires spawn, appear in each wave. That's great. They're undead, and undead feed Esmeralda. They deal 100% additional damage. They do not drop gold, nor do they count towards quest progress. This adventure has unique dialogue. That's a key thing to remember, folks, if you like the dialogue in the game. Normally, variants are just, it's the same dialogue as the main thing, but for the Devil it is unique. So if you want to stop and pay attention and read the dialogue, it is a very specific story for Esmeralda. That's rarer in the game for this kind of stuff. That's Esmeralda's stuff. So all pretty straightforward for her. Again, if things show as green, none of her stuff should be super difficult for you. Should be. Brig Hellclaw. Brig is our bard. Brig, dueling bards. So the first one, Brig starts in the formation. He can be moved but not removed, so that's why they don't show a C down here. He's not fixed in place. You can move him around wherever you want him to be. In each area, a Gaarawarr bard appears. The bard can only be damaged by other bards. This doesn't mean that you need to be running bard DPS. I want to be clear. Some people think that this and the next thing, Bard Champions deal 100% additional damage, mean that you need to be running Bard DPS. You don't. If you have it, Yeah, why not? Try it out. You only got to get to 75. But the thing is you don't have to kill the Dweregar to move forward, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So build your formation however you want with Briv in there, and do your thing, and you should be fine. Discordant melodies. A goblin bard joins the formation attempting to try out for the champions, but they practice the wrong song. Oops. Whenever they play their instrument, each champion adjacent to them has a 50% chance to be stunned for 2 seconds. That's not great. So with this one, they're showing you the X is where this goblin bard is going to be. The cue from these lines is that you don't want to place your DPS next to the bard, next to the goblin bard. You're going to want to put them somewhere not adjacent, like in the top row, right up here somewhere, depending on how you're building your formation. And then it's fine. And then you'll be fine. Enemies deal 200% additional damage. Gold Find a Champion damage is reduced by 99%. Again, don't be scared. You just need more favor, and you overcome that reduction in a big way. Not an issue. Yep, that's it. Musical accompaniment. An elf bard appears in each area with the masked man. So until the elf bard is destroyed, the masked man is invulnerable. This sucks. Because the masked man is a pain in the first place. If you've been playing the game with this event so far, you'll be like, why does the masked man have the ability to just one-shot everyone on my team? He doesn't. The masked man's damage is real high. But with enough favor, letting you upgrade your champion's health, like your tank's health, and maybe a couple tanks in there to health share, you can live through multiple hits from the masked man. But the masked man is supposed to be very scary, so if you're eking by in the EO8 range or less, having the masked man be invulnerable is rough. But if you've got enough favor, it's fine. A little tip for you're going to need this for a later variant. A little tip for the masked man: if you have crowd control champions, so like Nayeli has a full screen stun that'll lock him in place. Ashara has a knockback that'll push you. You wait to use the knockback until he's right almost on top of the champions, and then you knock him all the way back to the right. And then Nayeli stun and sit him in place. This gives you a lot of time to take off the hit-based health that this boss has. If you have any slows, any other routes, crowd control is great for keeping the masked man away from your team. And you might need it for something like this, right? Every time the elf bard attacks, the damage of the masked man is increased by 100%. That's not great. So this means you really want a lot of favor so that the second that elf walks on the screen, you smack him real hard and he falls over. Because you don't want him attacking and making the masked man even more dangerous. Because that's rough. Okay. Well, that's right. All right. Kent. Kent is our newest champion. And the first variant is one that people have been having a little trouble with. But you're going to need to use those tips that I just described about crowd control. So Kent begins in the formation. He can't be removed. That's the way all of these are. The newer events, they're really requiring the champion in them so that you can learn. And they're kind of building the restrictions around, learning the different features of that champion. So there's an additional wave of enemies in each boss area. Okay, so instead of 10 enemies, there's going to be 15, plus the boss. Bosses have 3 times the health and deal 3 times the damage. In general, that's not a big deal with most things. So because you're getting more enemies that you're killing on boss levels, you're getting more gold. You should be able to upgrade your champions more, yada yada yada. The issue is when you come to the Masked Man and he has 3 times as much health as he normally does as a segmented boss. It takes a lot longer to kill him, which means you need a lot of crowd control or a lot of health. One or the other. Now remember, you can set up crowd control stuff. If you have multi-hit champions, you can remove multiple segments. Oh god, did I call him Briv? It's Brig. But I will mess that up over and over and over again. He will have multiple segments. You can take him off with multi-hit attacks from like Ashara or Hitch. You can use ultimates that do multi-segmented, damage hit multiple times, like Celeste's ultimate and Jarlax's ultimate. These are just examples, but they all remove multiple segments. Esmeralda, available in this event, is fantastic because she actually gives you extra credit against segmented stuff. So you kill a segmented stuff twice as fast. Human, not in the front, but in like the middle rows, also can give you extra credit against segmented health bosses. So there are ways to chew through the Masked Man with 3 times health very quickly. But, crowd control and using some of those methods are going to be your best way to get through bossing around. I can tell you that I AFK'd right through it without doing any of that, simply because I had lots of favor, which meant I had lots of health. And it didn't matter that he was hitting my tank, and my tank never fell over. So again, favor can be the big stick that makes things easier. But if you don't have a lot of it, then you have to try some of these other methods to control the boss. In general, you shouldn't be... in general, in this game, you shouldn't even be attempting a variant that doesn't show as difficulty easy. Now, there are going to be adventures you have to try that don't show that way, because the difficulty rating is purely based around favor. So, like the first time you start a new campaign, it's not going to show as easy, but you still need to do it, and you'll be fine. When you do Split the Party or the Mad God, there's no favor there, so it's gonna look dangerous. But with variants, you have at least to even make a variant happen, you have to have completed a main adventure, and that main adventure should give you favor. So, do enough, get enough favor out of regular adventures to make your variants show as easy before you attempt them, and the game will be a lot easier for you. Quick and quick-witted. Once again, Kent begins in the formation and can't be removed. The one thing around this, he can be moved but not removed. That's the thing. So they're not showing a C anywhere. So you can put him wherever he needs to be. And we'll talk about placement for Kent when we talk about Kent. Kent wants to be in certain places. So quick and quick-witted. You may only use champions with a dexterity and charisma of 13 or higher. Double restriction. This one can be problematic. It can be problematic if you don't have a lot of champions that meet this qualification. So how do you get over that? Let's say you can only fill in like 6 of the 10 slots because you're super restricted. For every slot, your formation slot in your layout, that you don't have a champion, or that you have a subpar champion that's just existing in that slot but not helping. Like if you've got 2 pure DPS, that's not doing a whole lot for your formation. Get yourself at least an extra order of magnitude of favor. So at least EO1 more favor than what makes this show as easy. And that extra favor is going to let you, again, overpower it with the favor stick, right? Getting everything to show, like getting the EO8 to get you to show like this one is easy, puts you a couple orders of magnitude above this one already. So, shoot for a little higher and you should be able to overpower it. Champions affiliated with the Rivals of Waterdeep are also allowed. That's because Kent is a member of the Rivals of Waterdeep. So you can get around this, some of these restrictions, by just, if you've got a lot of rivals. If you don't yet, you're going to have to make do with what you have. And just get extra favor, and don't do it until you have that favor. Because remember, Kent's variants are full price. So the first one's 1,000, second one's 2,500, and the third one's 5,000. That's a lot of favor to throw at something if you're not sure you can do it. So wait until you have the favor, or that's a lot of tokens. Wait until you have the favor, so you're not wasting tokens. Final variant is the poisoned rat incident. I don't want to know. Again, Kents in the formation can be moved, but not removed. Each wave spawns with 1 to 3 giant rats. They don't drop gold, nor do they count towards quest progress. So again, just a swarm variant. First time an enemy is hit by a normal attack, they only take 1 point of damage. They're basically making it harder for you to kill things. And they're trying to show off one of Kent's specializations. He has a specialization called Potent Poison. So when he attacks, in this version, he will only do 1 damage, but he applies a poison that then ticks with bud damage over time, and that will then kill everything. So they're trying to teach you that hey, here's how this poison works. And yeah, that's cool. Alternately, you can just, live through them, hitting them multiple times, and they'll die. But the idea is you learn to kill them with poison. Kill them with poison. All right, instead of kindness. All right, I'm going to hop into the Trickster's Delight Kent layout here, and we will take a look at each of the 3 champions. Oh, hey, Esmeralda started there for me. All right. Kill me something. Give me some gold. Okay, there we go. Where are we at? We got Kent is in 4. Yep, there's Kent. Brig is in 3. Yep, all right. I have Brig in his Halloween outfit. Ascendant Brig, because come on, it's really great. Esmeralda unfortunately doesn't have any skins. Kent does. I don't have the one. His is brand new. His is right here. It's super extra. There's Kent's Spelljammer skin. For those of you who are wondering, it's not showing up in the UI for some reason. All right, let's throw these in. Yeah, that's probably fine. There, they're all in the same row. All right. Yeah, it's gonna annoy me if I don't at least have that going on. Yeah, we'll just throw them all out there. All right, everybody. Let's start with Esmeralda. Esmeralda, no affiliation, female. Here it says human fighter wizard. I think that I don't. Technically, Vistana monster hunter, but human fighter wizard is close enough, right? Chaotic good, support, base attack is a magical attack, despite the fact that she's got a sword. Firebolt, Esmeralda hurls a mode of fire at a random enemy. I mean zombies, folks. You could burn them, please. Main ability, the Devil's Playthings. Increases damage of champions and Esmeralda's column against undead creatures. Oh, I'm glad it's Saturday, folks. Lost the ability to speak. This is the feature I was talking about where same column gets a bonus. And then also she has like a favorite enemy, basically. It's undead. When you start off, it's undead. Because again, Barovia, Strahd, right? She likes to kill undead things. But this is right off the base functionality of Devil's Playthings. Same column as Esmeralda. And again, stacking against undead creatures. So with Kent as a DPS, you just want to make sure Esmeralda's in the same column as Kent. And Kent's going to get a bonus. Kent's going to get a bonus, right? Whoever your DPS is. Training montage. This one's a longer explanation. It has a couple things that's going on. But good to keep in mind. Multifunctionality. Esmeralda marks enemies as she trains the champions with her vampire hunting skills. Let's see if we can get a marked enemy out here. There's one, and then they died, of course. There's a little blue mark right there. It's an axe. Looks like a little axe, like a throwing axe. It spawns right there. At least it looks like an axe to me. Initially, it spawns on one of 3 enemy, like every 3rd enemy. So there we go. Pause. Esmeralda marks every 3rd enemy that spawns with this debuff. Once marked, the target gains 1 stack every 3 seconds to a max of 10 stacks. For each stack, champions in Esmeralda's column deal an additional amount of damage against the target. So this is one of those things that it applies and then it stacks up. So it takes 30 seconds to reach max, which is basically just, if you're not killing it yet, it's just going to keep letting you do damage up until 10 stacks extra damage. But again, it's every 3rd enemy. Prepare. Esmeralda, again, this is all one ability. Esmeralda marks every enemy she attacks with this debuff. If the enemy has armor or hits-based health, champions in Esmeralda's column remove an extra chunk when dealing damage to them. Otherwise, the enemy's max health is reduced by 50%. This is fantastic. Again, this is what I was talking about earlier with the Masked Man. Having Esmeralda in your formations in this event is going to help you kill the Masked Man twice as fast. Twice as fast if Esmeralda is the only bonus you're getting. And then against everything else, hey, 50% reduced health. Parry. The first time a non-boss enemy attacks, the attack misses. So this is a survivability feature, so things are getting close to your formation. It's all good because, you know, they're going to miss at least once. Threat tracking. Esmeralda tracks the undead creatures the champions kill while she's in the formation, increasing the effect of the Devil's Playthings by a small % for each undead tracked. This is her ramping feature. It's what I call a ramping champion. So you want her in at the start of your run, and you want her there witnessing as many undead deaths as possible. If you can do that, the further you go, the more things you kill, the stronger her buff becomes. It's pretty fantastic. It's pretty fantastic. Now again, the default setting is undead, but we're going to be able to adjust that here shortly. My signal is the ultimate. Esmeralda causes the enemy with the most debuffs active. So if you have lots of enemies on the screen, it's not the greatest. But if you're it's really a boss killer. When you're on your boss, it's the only thing alive. She causes them to take 50% more damage for each active debuff on them, stacking multiplicatively. Multiplicatively is a good way. So if you're running a formation, she's got debuffs. She's going to stack on the boss. But then if you have other champions in your formation stacking debuffs like Freely, like Krull, like Orkira, each one is 50% more multiplicatively in line. You're multiplying things to get more and more and more damage while the ultimate is active. That's fantastic. The only downside to this ability is we have no way in game to know how many debuffs are on any given enemy. Never have. Probably never will. So you just kind of got to give it time and cross your fingers and know that, hey, this is when these are applied, and okay, it's time to hit them. And time it to get as much as possible. Okay. It doesn't really do a whole lot visually other than she's got that dagger. She throws it. It goes stabby, and that's it. And then it's active for a while. That's how the ultimate works, folks. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so into the specializations. So the first set of specializations, she has 2 different sets of specializations. And they alter how her favorite enemy type system works. So again, it's Devil's Playthings is what we're messing around with, and threat tracking. But I just refer to it as favorite enemy because that's what it resembles. Stay on target keeps things as undead. It keeps you counting undead. Fiendish Stature switches it to fiends. And it doesn't reset your total that you've got. It just adjusts over and now starts adding fiends to it. These specializations let you, specialize her. Oh my god, see what they did there? For different types of adventures and the enemies you're dealing with. The Devil Wears Many Masks. This is for humans, humanoids, anything that's a humanoid. Monstrous Intentions. This is for anything that's a monstrosity. So depending on what you're dealing with, undead, fiends, humanoids, or monstrosities. As the bulk, you can tailor it to that. Now, if your adventure is all about beasts and and like fairies and stuff, Esmeralda is not best suited for that adventure. She really has a niche. Her niche is in these four types of enemies. So this is what you want, and in hit based things, right? And it's a double if you get hit based things that are in this. So if you're at the point where you're trying to fight Dragon Bait and you're having trouble killing Valindra Shadowmantle, folks, undead, armored. Guess what Esmeralda likes to kill? Right? So you could stay on target for Valindra and just chew through her health bar with Esmeralda in your formation. So keep this in mind. In this situation, I'm gonna switch to humanoids. If I remember my own guide correctly, humanoids are very prevalent in this, even though we're not seeing a lot of them at the moment. So that will have changed everything. Now you'll see the Devil's Playthings now says, oh, no, it doesn't. It still says undead. It's supposed to have changed to humanoid, but here it does it over here in outgoing effects. Okay, so as long as it's working, threat tracking, yeah. So over in outgoing effects, you'll see it correctly. You'll see it correctly. Nothing in between there. Okay, second set of specializations. Just making sure. Smells like a trap. We've trained for this, or he's still out there. I'm just going to straight up say the one that I run 100% of the time is smells like a trap. Esmeralda, now that doesn't mean you have to. It's just when I use Esmeralda, that's how I use Esmeralda. Esmeralda now marks every enemy that spawns with training montage pause. I like this because that's the debuff. I want everything debuffed, basically. I don't want to have to deal with not getting a debuff randomly and not being able to kill some enemies if I'm super at my wall with Esmeralda simply because the debuff didn't spawn. And yeah, so I just put the debuff on everything. Do what you will. We've trained for this training montage pause, prepare, and the Devil's Playthings now affect all champions in the formation. So this means that everyone's going to get those bonuses. Now, remember, pause and prepare, if we go back. Pause is the one that marks the debuff. So everybody can get credit from this. So everybody can get credit for hitting everybody can access the debuff even if they're not in the same column as Esmeralda. That's what I'm trying to say. And prepare is the one that gives everybody double credit. So if you just really want to kill like a hit-based enemy real fast, like, I don't know, a boss that's got hit-based health instead of armored health, you could choose that middle specialization, and everybody's going to be hitting it, and everybody's going to be removing multiple chunks. Everybody's going to be removing multiple chunks, so that can be nice. So that's the usage for this one, if you want to do that. And the Devil's Plaything is that is just her bonus, right? So it's just giving it to everybody. It's also useful if you can't put Esmeralda in the same column as your DPS for some reason, which happens. He's still out there. Increase the effect of the Devil's Playthings by 300%. This is just straight up high. I want to do as much damage as possible. But only with the Devil's Playthings. I prefer this because I want to do damage to everything. My gear makes this one far more useful to me. But, maybe there's a time where you just want to hit something real hard when it does have the debuff, and you can choose that. You can choose that. Let's get her a bunch of levels. All right. I believe that's everything, but I'm just going to double check. Yeah, that's it. So gear-wise, because she's a support, pure support, she gets a double set of damage all champions. She gets her training montage ability, which is great. That affects all of those features. The Devil's Playthings, fantastic. Again, that's one of her core the core part of her kit, and then threat tracking as well. So this is going to affect that ramping bonus that she gets. So really fantastic itemization across Esmeralda. And then because her ultimate doesn't do damage, you just get an ultimate cooldown reduction so that you can get that kind of boss killer boost as often as possible. Feat-wise, she's humanoid, so she has 2. Wait, no, that's not it. Damage of all champions, because she's support. And then she gets training montage, threat tracking, and the Devil's Plaything. So she can affect everything slightly, and then, whatever you want to boost by 40%, depending on what your gear is at, or whatever's looking like the largest number, you can run. Like if you're just doing short runs, threat tracking, probably not a big deal. You'd go training montage and Devil's Playthings. Deeper runs, you might want thread tracking in, right? Depends on how much you're killing. Next up, well, hold on. I always forget to do this. Achievements during the event. I want to be very clear. There's only really one achievement that you have to do during an event from these lists, and it's these numbered ones. That's it. Am I missing one? Oh, silly dragon down. Okay, Liar's Night is what we're on. There we go. So these numbered ones have to be done in an event. They can't be done anywhere else. Now, the good news is they can be done in any free play in the event. The event doesn't care. It's just, this is an event achievement. It's just, it arrives with a champion. So don't think of it as the champion's achievement. The champion achievements specifically are these that are right here. Like unlock them, get all do the 3 variants, get all their gear, and then the big one is do like something with their abilities. So with Esmeralda, it's count 1,000 active debuffs on enemies targeted by her ultimate. So this is just use Esmeralda a lot. Excuse me, park a familiar on her ultimate. If you want to farm it, you're going to need a lot of debuffers in your group to get as much credit from every ultimate activation as possible, but that's really it. It's not super hard to work for. It just takes a little bit of time. Let's talk about Brig. Brig Hellclaw. Brig joins us from Sirens of the Realms. Human, Rogue Bard, Cat at Good, and Pure Support. So base attack is War Loot. Brig leaps out and smashes a random enemy with his metallic guitar. One thing to keep in mind... Oh, what does this do now? Oh, yeah, cool. Brig is played by Jason Charles Miller of Bardic Inspiration fame. Well, lots of fame, but for Idle Champions people, Brig is the person behind Bardic Inspiration, all the songs in Bardic Inspiration that you could find in the jukebox right over here. There's a lot more songs, too. I've got a guide to Bardic Inspiration. You can check them all out, including my own very theme song for Gaarawarr's Guide to Everything in Idle Champions. So this is Jason Charles Miller's character in the game. This is Brig. Brig is all about the hype, because of course he is. He's a bard. Brig increases the damage of everyone in the formation by 100%. For each hype stack, the buff is increased by 10%, stacking additively, then applying multiplicatively. So, everything about Brig's kit is about hype and building hype stacks. All the other abilities are either going to affect this or build hype in different ways or buff certain things, but there isn't one. It's not about focusing on one thing. It's about reading them and understanding each specific situation to try to place them in the formation in a way that's going to build the most hype stacks for you with your formation layout. So there's not one true way. You just have to understand how Brig works. God, I did it. Brig works to make this happen. First one is Rallying Chord. So Brig's hype is increased by 5, while at least one enemy has been defeated within the last 10 seconds. So this can make sure that you have at least 5 hype stacks. If you're killing things a lot quickly, you're going to have at least 5 hype stacks, right? But if no enemy has been defeated in the last 20 seconds, Brig gains 1 hype stack each time a unique champion attacks up to a maximum of 10. So this is actually going to give you the most hype stacks when you're not killing. That's how you want it. You want to progress as long as you're killing, that's fine. You don't need the hype stacks. As you start slowing down, you need more hype stacks, because more hype stacks means more damage. So you want to keep that in mind. He's going to earn, Rallying Cord lets him earn more hype stacks when you need it. Inspired Bard, Brig gains 1 hype stack for each adjacent champion. So this may mean, I say may because we have another thing coming later that is going to affect this as well. It may mean that you want him adjacent to as many champions as possible. He gains an additional hype stack for each adjacent champion whose listed attack damage is higher than his. He's not the DPS he doesn't want to be. He's the support. He wants to hype everybody up. So this means you're putting him around people that have a higher damage. Now, the listed attack damage is what you see here on the screen. It's not anything off of this stuff or whatever. It's per the devs, it's what you're seeing here. So putting him next to Esmeralda triggers this. But if I put him here, I'm only getting 1 because he's actually higher damage than Kent is at the moment because we haven't leveled Kent up. Right? So just keep in mind that's part of the placement of Brig is adjacent to as many as possible who have higher damage than he is. Now, again, that may be how you want to do it because we have a specialization coming in that may give you more hype stacks by putting him somewhere else. That isn't necessarily the most optimal for adjacencies. Siren's Chant increases the effect of Brig's hype by 200% for each champion in the formation with the Sirens of the Realms affiliation stacking multiplicatively. So this is the affiliation bonus. Currently it's just Brig, Ariza, and Vlanya. So it's not a huge deal. But if you happen to be running them, you're going to get another bonus. It's not necessarily something I would build around. But just keep that in mind. Now, specializations. We have Backup Singer or Cream of the Crop. Backup Singer is the one that I said you might want to build around. It's the one I use the most. Brig gains 2 hype stacks for each champion in front of him in the formation. I can get a lot more hype stacks off of this than placing him adjacent to lots of things. So ideally, he's the only one in the back. It's like a single back column and 9 champions are in front of him. And then I'm grabbing 18 hype stacks, right? Whereas if I'm surrounding him in a place, the most you can get adjacent to somebody in the best possible formation is 6. Even if they're all higher damage, I'm only getting 12. Now, obviously, you can still add that to Backup Singer, but finding a good combination of those two things, if you're going to use Backup Singer, is the key. So it isn't just surrounded by the most or the furthest back. It may be some combination of the two. So a little bit of figuring out what you want for Brig is required. Cream of the Crop, Brig gains 2 hype stacks for each champion in the formation whose listed attack damage is lower than himself. I have never used this, and I don't know that I ever will. Because he shouldn't have higher damage than other people. So I usually get far more damage out of him far more hype stacks by going Backup Singer. Let's get him topped off. There we go. All right. Critical Moment. This is probably a bit of a reference to the fact that J. Charles Miller was on Critical Role. Garthok. Played Garthok. But who knows? Maybe it's a different reference. Brig gains 1 hype stack for every 5 enemies on the screen. Rounded up. So the more enemy, again, this is providing more damage. The harder it is for you to kill things. So if you're just not able to kill enemies and they just keep streaming out, he's going to start adding more and more hype stacks. He gains an additional 10 hype stacks whenever a boss enemy is on the screen. So the highest number of enemies that you should be able to get on a boss level with streaming trash mobs. So the ones where like Valindra Shadow Mantle, where she's out there sitting there attacking you, and then it's just a constant stream of enemies. 100 plus the boss. So you could potentially, if you're trying to get your high water mark, which we'll talk about in a moment, for the most number of hype stacks ever, you're going to want to aim for building up that via critical moment and a really good formation layout. The ultimate attack is called Solo. It's pretty fantastic. Brig performs a killer solo with flashing lights and musical notes flying everywhere, damaging and pushing enemies back with massive sound power. For the next 30 seconds, Brig's hype stacks are increased by 11. Oh, you gotta love it. All right, here we go. Yeah. Now, the animation doesn't last super long, but he's on fire. That tells you that the buff is active, so it'll go away when it ends. Pretty fantastic. Pretty fantastic. Okay, final. This is a final ability. You got to get deep in here for this to get active. Volume up. Increase the damage bonus of hype based on the highest number of hype stack that Brig has ever had at once. The increase is 5% per hype stack, stacking multiplicatively before applying. So, this is where at some point in your Brig usage career, you're going to want to figure out the right formation and the right boss level, etc., 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 to get you the max, do a little theory crafting, and to get you the max number of stacks possible, because you only have to do it once, and then the game remembers it. The game remembers it. So over here, my highest I've ever gotten, I don't know if this is the highest you can get. I think you could probably get higher. 56 is what I've gotten, and that gives me a nice little bonus of EO4. It's not huge, but I'll take it. I'll take it. So, because this is going to be, this is an EO4 bonus against hype. So that helps to get hype even higher, and my hype is up here in the EO8 range. And I don't even have a lot of stacks at the moment, so it's doing pretty good. That's all of Brig's abilities. Gear-wise, again, support, so a pair of damage all champions. Of course there's a hype item, and then there's a volume up item, so they're really trying to reward you for doing that hunt for the highest number, which is good because that is that multiplicatively applying bonus. So, I believe the item is post stack. Yeah, it's post stack. So it's not super broken, but still nice. Ultimate attack damage and then ultimate attack cooldown are the other items. Feats we get, of course, just increased damage all champions as the base because he's a pure support. We get hype feats. We get volume up feats. You don't have anything else because remember, everything is feeding into hype. So you really only need to modify hype and volume up, and you're good. He does get an intelligence feat. This is so he can go play against Strahd, like Strahd patrons. Strahd patron stuff is what the int feat is for. That's going to be Brig. Let's talk about Kent. Kent is the newest addition to Idle Champions. Tiefling, Rogue, Neutral Good, DPS, and or support. A member of the Rivals of Waterdeep. We are now only missing one rival. That's Virgil. Kent interacts with Virgil, so there's a reference to Virgil in his kit, but Virgil will be coming soon to Idle Champions. Basic attack, Rapier. Kent strikes the closest enemy with his Rapier. That's it. It's just a straightforward single target attack, which means he's a single target DPS. Doesn't have any real wave clear. Does have a fairly fast attack speed, but you'll need you'll need some, if you're having trouble with wave clear killing things fast enough, you're going to need some other supportive champion that's going to give you some wave clear based off his attacks. Level 0 ability, this is the Virgil reference, so this just means it kicks in even when he's not in the formation. If Virgil qualifies for an adventure restriction based on his tags, age, ability scores, etc., Kent may be used as well. So this is a tag-along feature. These are great. This just lets you bring in champions into other adventures where maybe they normally wouldn't be, simply because one of them does, and they just bring everybody along with them. It's pretty great. One of the main features of Kent's kit is Tokens of the Departed. Straight up off the bat, folks, Kent is going to be a better champion for players who have done lots of things in the game and can push very deep. Kent is kind of a scaling on account power and progress champion, which is a little new for idle champions. And Tokens of the Departed is one of the ways it does this. So Kent keeps a soul trinket of the highest level boss defeated in each campaign and the highest level boss defeated in any event, but events only count for one. Each campaign is going to count as their own, and then an event, even though because with events there's over 100 champions in the game, and the bulk of them have arrived via events, so they weren't going to list out every single event. It's just like whatever your highest boss level defeat in any event is, he's going to grab a soul trinket from that, and then you go do deep pushes in each of the campaigns to grab a soul trinket from each of those. Kent increases the damage of all champions in his column by 1% for each soul trinket level. So I'm going to flip over here. I went and did some farming. Not a lot. I did Grand Tour. I did Tomb of Annihilation. I did Descent into Avernus, and then I did this event. Events and time gates are the same thing because time gates are just a time traveling back to an event. That's all it is. So it's an event. So it's going to add all these levels together, as you see down here, soul trinket levels, and then it applies the multipliers and gives me a bonus. So I still need to finish effectively powering Kent up. I didn't even shoot super deep on these. I just tried to clear 1,000 and then move on, just to try to grab 1,000 from each of those. So I have multiple campaigns left to go. And then if I want to push it even more, I can, try to do super deep pushes in each one. But Kent, just to trigger this, Kent needs to be in your formation when you kill the boss. It doesn't have to be the first time you kill the boss. This is rare for this game. Usually you only get credit if you're in the initial time you kill the boss. No. Kent doesn't have to be in for your progress to this high level. You just need to get to the highest boss you can complete. Go, put yourself back on that boss level, put Kent in, and kill that boss with Kent in. Now, you may or may not be able to do that highest, furthest one with Kent in. It just depends on who you're replacing. But if you can bud spike. You could ride a bud spike and try to kill. You could click deep. Whatever way you can kill that boss. As long as Kent is in the formation when you kill it, even if it isn't the first time, you will get that soul token. I have confirmed this. You will get it. It has to be the boss dying. So that's how you get the highest stuff for Tokens of Departed. So again, it's going to reward you more the further you can go. So remembering the old days, each time Kent or the ghostly spirit from his ultimate attacks, we'll talk about that in a moment, he gains a nostalgia stack that lasts until entering a new area. So because it lasts until entering a new area, this is an in-area ramping bonus that has a stack cap. So it's basically you're going to get more damage the longer it takes to clear the level. Again, that's kind of how you want it. And it isn't on killing things, it's just on attacking things. So that's nice. Unlike, say, Walnut. Walnut gives that bonus on kill, which makes it rough when you get to a level where you can't kill anything. Kent does it on attack, which is great. Kent increases his damage by 50% for each nostalgia stack, stacking multiplicatively. And then applied multiplicatively. So this is great. Buffs are applied to the post-stack value. Nostalgia stacks are capped at 25 stacks. So 50%, 25 times, effectively. And it stacks up faster if his ultimate's active, because his ultimate has an attack. Let's talk about that real quick. Whales from the grave. I don't know why he likes sea creatures, but sure. I really hope one day, my dream is that every champion in Idle Champions will get a pirate skin. And I really hope that one day when you hit this and he has a pirate skin active, that the ultimate is like a ghostly spirit of a whale. just just coming out and attacking things. Oh, I need that. I need that pun in my life. Wails from the grave. The weather changes to fog. For 30 seconds, whenever Kent attacks, a ghostly spirit is summoned and attacks an additional enemy if possible, dealing bud damage. So the if possible is there because maybe there's nothing on the screen. So let's try to just get some things out here, potentially. There we go. Boom. Things get foggy. There it is. There it is. So what I want is that for that to be a whale. Just in a pirate skin. But yeah, it's still pretty cool. Still pretty cool. Look at that ghost. Look at that ghost action. All right. I should probably move that in that order. And we move forward. And we move forward. All right, so that's going to help you stack up nostalgia stacks faster. That's going to stack nostalgia stacks faster. The nice thing is it does damage too. So hey, fantastic. Extra! Kent's force of personality emboldens his companions. Kent increases the damage of all champions by your current achievement bonus. What's your achievement bonus, you say? It's this down here on the bottom right of your achievement tracker. The more achievements you get done in the game, the higher this bonus is. So I have a lot done, not all, but a lot, and I'm in the EO5 range. So that's the baseline value. It is modifiable, so it's not just an EO5 buff. It can go up. But that's, yeah, this is Kent being, Kent rewarding you for progressing through the game. All right, specializations. So the first one is Robust Rivals. The second is Potent Poison. Robust Rivals is kind of what you would expect by this name. He is a member of the Rivals of Waterdeep. So Kent increases the attack bonus of Tokens of the Departed by 100% for each Rivals of Waterdeep champion in the formation. They don't have that listed there, but in the formation, stacking multiplicatively and applied multiplicatively. So if you're running a full Rivals formation, this is going to get you a lot of damage bonus to Tokens of the Departed because it's a multiplicative bonus. Potent Poison, this is the one that you're going to want to use for that one variant where you hit something, it only takes 1 damage. The poison is going to kick in afterwards. Whenever Kent attacks an enemy and doesn't kill it, it is affected by a virulent poison. The poison deals 4 seconds worth of bud to the enemy each second for 4 seconds. So this is bud-based damage. This is fantastic because this means that when you're dealing with armored bosses with Kent as your DPS, as long as the bud he is setting is enough to take off an armor chunk, you're going to be able to hit it once, because he's a single target champion, and then it's going to tick off 4 more chunks once a second for 4 seconds, right? And then he's going to hit it again. It's going to stack up again. This is also great if Kent is a support, because remember, he is support DPS. He can help you clear armored enemies as long as your primary DPS is setting a high enough value bud to clear through those chunks. Kent will attack and his bud-based dot will chew through that enemy's health. So Kent is a great addition to your formation, once again, to help you kill hit-based things, like the Masked Man in this event. Esmeralda and Kent together, with Kent spec'd into Potent Poison, are going to help you chew through the Masked Man's health. Okay. We're going to go ahead and throw that one on. So I really, right now, I'm running lots and lots of Potent Poison when I'm running Kent. It's just so nice. It's just so nice to get all of those extra ticks off against hit-based and armored stuff. Fantastic. That's everything for Kent's upgrades. Now, Kent is unusual for a DPS support, and that his first 2 items are both damage all champions. Normally we see a damage all champions and a self DPS, but we don't see that here. It happens sometimes. I mean, technically this is boosting his own damage too, but usually self DPS is a higher number, a higher multiplier. So then we get Tokens of the Departed. Fantastic. Remembering the old days. Fantastic. And extra. Fantastic. So we're multiplying all the good things about Kent. And then we're reducing the cooldown on the ultimate, which is great because he's doing bud damage anyway. We don't need to... we're doing, attacks just like that, so we don't need to necessarily boost it. We just want to reduce the ultimate so it's up more often. Feat-wise, damage all champions and self-damage. Then there's Tokens of the Departed. We get Remembering the Old Days, we get extra. So you can multiply, like you can run a 80%. If you've got a lot of achievement bonus, like I do, you could run 80% extra to really, multiply that, especially if you have a really good gear. I haven't geared my Kent out yet. We're going to do that here on the stream. Yeah, so you just kind of figure out which one's going to get you the most bonuses overall and go for it. And some of that may be based off, if you're running full rivals, you might want to run Tokens of the Departed because you're getting all those multiplicative bonuses to it, right? So just you keep a lookout. It's going to be a little more situational with Kent stuff. I forgot to do Briggs. I forgot to cover Briggs achievement. We'll do Briggs and Kent's right here. Briggs is just turn it up to 50, so you got to get at least hype stacks at least up to 50. 50 or higher, right? I think that's what I did just to get to 56, just so I could get the achievement. It's all about building the right formation, folks, and getting done one of those boss levels where you can just sit and wait. And then Trinket Collector for Kent. Basically, collect soul trinkets worth at least 1,750 levels using Kent's Tokens of the Departed. I think there's like at least eight different tokens you can collect currently in the game. So getting a little over 200 levels of progress in each campaign and in the event would get it for you. That's not a whole lot to ask. If you can go further. This should get done pretty quickly. Right. So it's just go stack Kent's power up is what it's telling you to do. Gearing up champions in an event for event champions. I highly recommend the order of operations being collect your champions, then open up all of those sweet Electrum chests that the game gives you, like from streams like this one. I had over 100 saved up since the last event. That's usually there's 30 to 40 codes each week. You can get lists of those in the Discord and other places. So yeah, shoot for that. And then save, if you've got all of your other champions in at least green gear, save up your Electrums, because the goal is not to get full epic as quickly as possible. It's to get these new champions to full blue as quickly as possible, as efficiently as possible. So in as few chests as possible, and opening Electrums helps you do that. Once you popped all your Electrums, then you could burn named silvers and then named gold. So I did part of this already. I'm all the way up to full blue gear because I popped all my Electrums, I popped all my Kent silvers, and then I go to Kent golds, right? So the way brand new chests in Isle Champions works, a gold chest. Gold chests have pity timers. That's because they have epic equipment in them, so they guarantee you a piece of epic equipment every certain number of chests. The first time you encounter a new type of chest in the game, gold chest in the game, the pity timer is at 4. That means you're guaranteed to get that epic piece of equipment after 4 chests. So you can see right here, I haven't opened... I opened one before the event started because they gave us a free one. In Idle Champions Presents Hunger of the Far Realm. So after the 4, the pity timer goes to the normal pity timer of 10. So to guarantee, with the worst possible luck, to guarantee yourself full epics on a brand new champion, you would need 54 chests, which I have. So I'm just going to dump all these. I'll probably get full epic in this first batch if it wants to open. Did I? Yeah, there we go. So there's full epic for Kent for me. And then everything else for the rest of this event is going to be just getting him extra item levels. So there's full epic across Kent. So far, I'm a little over 100 item levels on everything. A little bit with a little more here on Remember the Old Days, which is fine with me. But that's going to be your best, most efficient way to open up those chests. We're going to take a short break for me to rest my voice. We're going to listen to some music from Bardic Inspiration. This is Esmeralda's song. This is Where Angels Fear to Tread. Be right back, folks.
Struck out down on my own, with no place to call my home, but a purpose burning bright inside my heart. Sought a mentor on my quest, right to study with the best. Now there's nothing left but vengeance in my car. When fate took my leg, I got up to fight again. Nothing stops me from the task at hand. Now I'm stronger than before. I stand ready for this war. Drive the undead scourge out of this land. Predators are played by my hand. I'm going where angels fear to tread. I go where evil goes. I'll hunt them to the end. Eternal peace for the undead. I'll send them on here. It's time to make amends. Stalking monsters all alone in this dread domain I roam. Ancient evil hounds me every night. Search across this land. Oh, ready to understand how to break the curse, bring back the light. Time to put an end to this fight. I'm going where angels fear to tread. I go where evil goes. I hunt them to the end. Eternal peace for the undead. I'll send them on here. It's time to make amends. Time to make amends. Angels fear to tread. Send them on here. I hunt them to the end.
And we're back, folks. I'm gonna hit a comment in chat just to clarify for people. Remember, if you have an event currency, you can also buy their chests outright in the shop with event currency. Please don't. Please don't. Is this a thing? Yes. Let me go over. So if you come in here, they give you the option to buy a gold chest with 10,000 tokens. As I explained earlier, the cost of a free play is 2,500 tokens max, which means you can run 4 free plays for 10,000 tokens. Free plays give you a chance at either silver or gold chest, and the pity timer is 4 for the gold chest. So running 4 free plays guarantees you a gold chest, plus at least 3 silvers for the same token as just going in the store and buying a gold chest. But you could potentially end up with 4 gold chests. I have done it. It happens. So the only reason this exists, in my opinion, is so that on Monday, the 31st, when the event is ending, it's maybe, a half an hour before it ends, and you didn't have time to run free plays over the weekend or whatever, and you just checked in, that you can then just go buy some chests with your tokens and they're not wasted. Because at noon Pacifically, when the event ends, all your tokens disappear. They don't give you any grace period to spend them or anything. So that's the only reason these chests exist, in my opinion. Please don't spend your tokens on chests in the shop. Please run free plays. You're going to do a lot better. I opened, yesterday I had like 70 something silver chests. I just had 54 gold chests I opened. Where did all those come from? Bounty contracts. And running free plays on loop for the better part of a day with my Modron Core and Speed champions. So yeah, try to do that. Try to do that. I'm gonna hit up the questions from the chat. Martin's got like six over. Well, we're in the like 17 range. So if you have more questions, fire away. We got about 40 minutes left in the show. Hit the stuff that's on topic first. Foolish Genius. In your opinion, is Kent's token ability worth a potion of polish? Quite possibly. I have a few potions of polish, and I've been saving them up, and I was going to put some on Kent, because Kent just, even right out of the gate with blue gear, Kent's been doing pretty good work for me in my formations. Again, blue gear is kind of that, where I consider them functional. Epics is just, hey, what a wonderful bonus. But as long as you get them all in full blues, they're functional out of an event, and Kent's been real functional for me. Allowing me to kill stuff, as you saw, well over area 1,000 with him in the formation. So I'm thinking about it. Rebel Gamer, what formation theme is Kent good in? Formation theme? I'm not sure what that actually means. I don't know. If we're talking formation layout, he increases the damage of champions in his column, including himself. So if you're using him as support, you want him in just somewhere where you can put him in a column with the DPS. I'm not sure what a formation theme is, though. Like a Rivals of Waterdeep theme? Yeah, because he's a rival and he gets bonus for that, I guess. I'm not sure how to answer that one. Fritz, if I wanted to try to full epic one of the event champions, which would you recommend? Probably Kent. Like I said, he's been real strong. So if you are going to just try to go all in on one champion, I think Kent's going to be pretty good for you. Generally, I recommend trying to spread out all of your tokens amongst all the champions so you get roughly equal gear on everybody, but you do you. Winterborn 1, 2. Which of the 3 free plays would you recommend for the deepest pushing for early to mid game players? It's either going to be Esmeralda or Briggs. And it's really going to depend on whether you want lots of champions in the same column, which is then going to be as your DPS. That's going to be Esmeralda's. Or if you want as many adjacencies as possible, that's going to be Briggs. They're both 2 tank front lines, so they're both fairly survivable front lines for pushing deep. Which is good when you're dealing with the masked man, right? More health lets you live through his hits. He does not have a one-shot mechanic, despite what some people feel like. He just does a lot of damage with each hit. So health can overcome that. Riffraff, best way to go. Oh, that's not the right. Hold on. We'll come back to that, Riffraff. Wasn't on topic, but that's okay. We'll get to the on-topic Q&A. We will. Foolish Genius again. Can't keep stealing Dahani's top DPS spot. What do I do to keep Dahani as my DPS? Yes, I'm at layer 10. Right now, I don't know that you can if you're using Kent with Dahani. Dahani's damage is not in a great place. She needs a little boost. It could be that when Virgil arrives, Virgil may boost Dahani. You would feel like Virgil would boost Kent specifically, but Kent is a support DPS, so the Rivals formation should be building more around Dahani as a pure DPS. Currently, it doesn't. The only way to try to keep Dahani ahead of Kent is to use more positional buffs that can only target Dahani and not Kent. But even then, hard to say. Or like Anthony just put in chat, put Mako's next to Kent, but not next to Dahani, and then Dahani gets Makos' buff, and Kent doesn't. Same thing with Daub and Paulton. So there's ways to position DPS, or to position buffs to target Dahani, but yeah, straight up, Kent's gonna take over a bit. Does Esmeralda work for click debuff formations? Technically, her ultimate should. I've never tried because I don't like click debuff. It really grinds the game to just a halt in more ways than one. Um, and two, the rest of her kit doesn't debuff. It's just the ultimate. Just Paulton's in slot 4 with Kent. Well, all right, fine. I just I don't when I'm trying to think of champions that have non-adjacent buffing, I'm not also trying to my brain isn't cross-referencing on stream. Oh, who's in the same slot as that champion? I'm just listing off non-adjacent buffers. Foolish Genius, does Esmeralda's middle spec turn the buff from positional to non-positional? It does. So it's not something you'd want to run with, say, Artemis or Archon, right? Or even somebody like... Oh, no. Where is she? Why, all the new champions, I'm forgetting all their names. Valentine. Potentially, because it then goes to all champions and not specific, right? So again, I never use it. I never use that middle spec, so I never run into it. But yeah. Okay, yeah, we already answered that one. How do you farm gold Kent chests? You just run Kent free plays over and over and over again with all of your event tokens. And you would get more event tokens by popping bounty contracts like these. I save all my bounty contracts between events. I open a flat number of gold chests between events. I open 1,500. That's my target. I get a lot of gems, folks. Not as much as some, but more than many. So I buy enough chests to get me to 1,500 gold chests. I open them all. That populates my inventory with lots of bounty contracts, along with other great things that I want anyway. And then that gets me a minimum number of event tokens that's roughly the same every event, which allows me to full epic the new champions as they come out. But it's really just it's farming lots and lots of event free plays to 50 with Kent and my Modron core looping. All right, I'm going to back and answer all the general questions. If you've got any kind of questions, throw them in chat, folks. Riff Raff, the best way to get slow on Nova. Am I killing too fast? She doesn't seem to be getting any. So this is a reference to the current seasonal. Oh no, that's the Sentry one. Well, it is the seasonal one. I just did my Nova one already. There's a seasonal quest for Nova where you need to slow a certain number of enemies. Yeah, you're killing too fast. Nova's got to be able to actually hit stuff. If you're killing and clearing levels too fast, like you're cycling and gem farming or something, it's never going to happen. It's just never going to happen. So what I did is I put, when I was trying to get the one to clear barriers, I took chat's advice. I went to Tomb of the Nine Gods. I just sat on area 9 and I had Nova in with Shandy. Nova in front of Shandy. And those were the only two champions in my formation. I had them leveled up really high. No click damage out. No like familiars on the field. Just letting Nova and Shandy kill everything. And that let Nova get lots of credit for applying her slow. While I also got credit for killing those barriers and moving forward. Right. So there's a tip, I guess, if you want to get that done along with the barrier one. You can run Nova Shandy combo, or just Nova if you don't have Shandy. I put in Shandy just because it sped the game up, so it went faster. But you could just throw speed potions in. Valdemar Knight wrote, I'm at the point I want to spend gems on feats. Are there any good ones you could suggest starting with? No. People always ask this, and I hope one day somebody tries to make some kind of, new player suggested feat list, but it's not going to be me. I don't have the time to manage more guides. I already have to, every time a new champion comes to the game, I have another guide I have to add and manage. So I have over 100 guides that I have to manage and update. I can't do all of them. Someone else has to do them. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. My general recommendation is you look at the champions you're using the most. You open up their feats to see like what feats do you have available and what's going to be the best boost for you with them, and you shoot for those first. There's also going to be like, hey, if you're having trouble with certain patrons, are there champions that have feats that will enable them for that patron? Maybe you want to pick those up. Yeah, that's the general idea. But specifically, no, I have no idea. HLS, I finally started getting into patrons, Modron cores, etc. Should I unlock all the patrons at once or just focused on one at two? As many as you can unlock. Yeah. Would you prioritize Modron leveling or patrons? The nice thing is you can do both at the same time. So don't prioritize one or the other. Do them both. Slot a Modron into your active party that you're doing patron stuff with and go do patron stuff. Because as you're completing those areas, you're getting experience for your Modron. But yeah, you want to unlock as many patrons as you can as quickly as possible. Because the patron shop, well, patrons are going to give you bonuses potentially as you get influence. You can spend them on perks. This is different than favor on blessings. It's a different type of similar, but a different type of system with different rules. So get your influence, spend them on perks. That's going to give you more power to do all kinds of stuff in the game. But also, every week from each patron, you can buy a time gate piece, which is going to speed up your acquisition of new champions, and then later on speed up your ability to get them all champions to full epic via time gates. And you also want to buy a Modron component chest each week from each one. Because this is the only way to get extra Modron component chests on a regular basis. And you need them forever. You need to buy them forever. Yeah. But yeah, just try to do the combination. I don't try to go all in on doing one thing over another. I try to do as many things as together at once, even if they're not all in the most efficient way on there for each individual thing. Because I'm doing multiple things at once, I'm gaining more progress efficiently overall. And that's what you want. Unless you're really needing one specific thing, like maybe you just... Yeah, unless you're really needing one specific thing for something, then you just get as much progress as you can in general. Don't necessarily just try to focus all your resources into one thing when it comes to leveling stuff up like that. Because you can do patrons and Modron cores at the same time. Glio's the original. How far does relevant dialogue go? Does it repeat every 50 levels? It's just the first 50 areas are dialogue. I don't even know that it keeps going after that, honestly. But yeah, it should just be the first, everywhere should just be the first 50 levels is dialogue. Oh, Foolish Genius. Can we get a t-shirt with Cartoon Gar's face and the words multiplicatively is the good way? I mean, maybe. I don't know. These, I would have to come up with a Cartoon Gar. I don't think it can be the ones that you see in the emotes here, because those are for the property of Codename Entertainment, most likely. The one I use as an icon places was sent to me isn't used in the emotes. It was sent to me by Luke. So I don't know, maybe? There's a whole lot of legal questions I'd have to ask before doing something like that. Winterborn 1, obligatory Jeremy question. Do you think Jeremy Clawford Familiar will have a good interaction with the champions from Liar's Night? I think he would interact well with Kent personally. I mean, I feel like the best interaction, if there's any like key interaction from a Jeremy Familiar, it would have to be with Tyrell, right? Like they need some kind of Easter egg interaction with Jeremy Familiar and Tyrell. Now, I don't know if we're getting a Jeremy Familiar. I certainly hope we do. But yeah, since Jeremy exists because of Tyrell, I would think that would have to be the interaction. Elizabeth, how can I unlock Nova? Right now, you would do it with a time gate. You would go do a Nova time gate. So you get 6 time gate pieces. The full time gate pizza pie. View, pick Nova, and go unlock Nova. Stout Crusher, where do I find a list of the Electrum codes for the ones that I may have missed on Discord? Well, there is a Discord channel that lists like all of them. If you're in that Discord channel, you're probably getting every last one of them. So if you're already in the Discord, you've probably got them all. Because the community is real good about posting everything in there. There are a couple websites out there that also list them off, but as far as I know, that's always going to be the same as in the combinations channel in the Discord. Space Lancer Jericho, I'm attempting to unlock Blushi. Blushi is the Evergreen champion from the Wild Beyond the Witchlight. I want to gear Blushi when I get them, so I'm hoarding some gold and Ethereum. Ethereum? Electrum? Is it more efficient when you have fresh champ to open golds than Electrums, or Electrums than golds? No. Blushi is an Evergreen champion, so you don't need to worry about Electrum chests. Hold on to your Electrum chests. You want gold and silver chests, just regular silver chests, and you get those naturally just by killing bosses as you progress. You'll get hundreds and hundreds of silver chests. Yeah. So just save those regular silvers and golds. Don't worry about Electrums. I mean, Electrums can go into Evergreens, but Electrums are better saved for opening when you get event champions. Because the Evergreen champions can be geared up with regular chests. And you can get infinitely more of those than anything else. Phyllis Genius, what patron can fit all the rivals? I don't know. I know for Aroas, that's not a thing. I would have to cross-reference all my guides to tell me if it's true. If rivals can. Hold on. Let me just pull up Dahani, Gosrick, Celise. What else am I still missing? Any Gosrick, Kent, Celise, Shaka with the walls fell. Let's see. So chaotic. Good. Neutral, good. I mean, they're on the good, so that's fine. That's good. Well, that rules out Mert. She's neutral. So Mert isn't one. What's Vajra want? She wants Con 14, right? It's Con 13 or 14. 14, okay. So Dahani qualifies. Kent qualifies. Gosrick's at 13 and has a feat. Shaka qualifies. She's wow, the tank with 11 con. Really? Okay. So not Vajra either. Strahd. There's an int feat for Strahd. That qualifies straight up. That qualifies straight up. That qualifies straight up. That qualifies straight up. So far, Strahd. And then Strength 10, Charisma 13. No. Dahani's so far off. So Strahd's going to be the best bet. Check Strahd when Virgil arrives. If Virgil has 13 int or higher or has a feat to get them there. You have to be like within 2. It's very rare that they're going to give you a +2 and a +1 in the same feat. So I don't even think it's happened, but it's possible. Aroas currently can't go in. I think they're missing a feat. Like one feat, and then Aroas could be in like, I can't remember. Maybe Vajra? Off the top of my head, I don't remember. I know when I was trying to build an all Aroas formation for patron stuff, I couldn't do it. But it was just because of one feat. But because of missing like a +1 feat, I think. Gauntleted Blade. What is a good way to farm gems? I'd love to get all the familiars and the Nerds Hero. You want lots of speed champions. As many speed champions as you can get. Well, as many fries as you can give me. I want as many speed champions as you can get. And when you're starting off, Before you have a super built up Briv and Human and you're super epic, super fast, you want to go to Mad Wizard and run Mad Wizard with a Modron, with your fast Modron core, and cycle, based off what your instant click kill wall is, which doesn't mean, it means you click once and it's dead, not click twice and it's dead. It just needs to die instantly as it appears, so that you can get as efficient as possible, and you just cycle that when you're not actively playing. So whenever you go AFK, that's it. There is I think we were talking about that. I don't know if there is a really good beginner's gem farming guide. And that may be something I try to do in the future, but not anytime soon. But there's a guide for Briv gem farming. It's very advanced, very high level. There are a couple of those. But yeah, I don't think there's a Babby's First Gem Farm guide, which is a gap in the community knowledge. But I think just because it's like, hey, throw all your speed champions in the formation and hit up Mad Wizard. Feels straightforward to most of us, but it could probably be outlined a little better for people. Bloody Meadow, I was wondering if you have your own Twitch stream and what would be the schedule. I do. It's Twitch TV/Gaarawarr right down there. It's spelled like it sounds, folks. I got my name just about everywhere. What's the schedule? I stream Idle Champions on Mondays on a show called Idle Chatter. You come hang out with me Mondays for more Idle Champions Q&A stuff. And over there I tend to do I tend to do a variety of things that I don't do here. Like I'll push hard variants. I'll try to show more of like the thought process in doing variants, or I'll pipe out my Modron cores, like try to supercharge them or whatever. We talk about lots of stuff. It is Idle. The show's called Idle Chatter. I talk about a lot of things that aren't Idle Champions as well. Usually food. Because I'm hungry and I want to go eat. And then Wednesdays, I do a bit of variety streaming outside of that. Wednesdays, we're switching things up. We just finished playthroughs of a lot of the Monkey Island games, which were fantastic. I was going to go back to Warhammer. I used to play Warhammer, the Total War Warhammer games, but I think because it's the holidays, it's the creepy holidays, we're going to play something creepy. So check out my channel for that schedule. And then today, about an hour-ish after this stream, because I got to go get lunch and then I got to eat it, it's Final Fantasy Saturdays. Where we're playing through the Final Fantasy pixel remasters of the original 6 games. We're on Final Fantasy 4 right now, but we should be done soon. I don't know. I keep saying we should be done soon, and then we're not. So we'll see. Demon Grrr. Defeats make a difference with the champions selected for a Trials campaign. Oh, I think you mean, I think you're talking about, what bonuses you get up here? Like, if you're sending someone... I call this jury duty. Because trials... Jury duty. They're sequestered and juried for jury duty for a week. This is purely based... These bonuses are purely based off of item levels. It's the total item levels of the champion. So my Makos is over max because it's a core champion and I've got tons of item levels, right? So yeah, it's based off item levels. It has nothing to do with feats or anything like that. Just the item level numbers. So right here I've got what's almost 6,000 to 7,000 item levels across. Well, that one's capped. But 6,000 to 7,000 item levels across the rest of these, and that gives him the max. Foolish Genius, do you plan on demonstrating the Erois core piping when you get it? I have to get it first. If I do, it's probably going to be on my channel. Folks, did you see? Is this out for everybody? They put a buffs tab in here, and I don't remember seeing that in the patch notes. But whatever. I like it. I like that you can see now for every level as you progress through this. You know what buff you're going to get when you get there, which we didn't have before. But I am earning more. Ooh, I have enough for this one now. That tier is done. I have just been buying my way in order through the tiers. I picked up the season pass yesterday. I could have just come down here and straight bought this one, but I didn't. So yeah, I'm just going to earn the currency and then I'll buy it when I buy it. I don't know. I'll get there eventually. Ooh. Ubavin. To spinning favor for patron perks, remove that favor from opening the shop items. First up, someone in chat probably corrected you already, but I have to make sure that we are talking about the right things. You don't spend favor on patron perks. You spend favor on blessings. This is why earlier I said these are two different systems. They're similar, but they're two different systems. You spend influence. Influence on patron perks. And the thing about influence is no. When you spend it, it doesn't disappear. It doesn't disappear. That's the big difference between, and that's why it's different from favor. When you spend favor on blessings, it just disappears. But over here, you can see like there's an amount and you spend it, but it's only in the terms of spending it here. So as you can see, I've got like EO9 or somewhere in the EO9 favor overall. And if I want to know exactly how much, I've got on the shop page, it tells me my actual total favor I've earned or influence I've earned all time. See, now I'm mixing it up myself. 175 EO9, right? And if I add those together, that's what I get. So it keeps your actual total influence you've earned as the record here in the shop for you to unlock stuff that you can purchase. It's like a high water mark. You just have to get there. And then, but then you can use it over here to get stuff. But they're two separate areas. Think of it as the terminology that it is. You're gaining influence with a wealthy person to gain access to things. That influence is giving you bonuses from them, but also giving you letting them allowing you to get access to cooler stuff. To purchase from them. But you can't run out of it. Once you've earned it, you've earned it. It doesn't go anywhere. Yeah. The only thing that you run out of is the currency. Whatever they'll want to call it. It's all just your patron currency. That's what you can run out of. But your patron influence is forever. Like I've got a lot. I've done more stuff in Zariel, so I have a lot more. Plus, her goals are higher, so I have a lot more influence here. I thought I saw something in here that I was going to address, but it's not. I don't think it's in my question list. Oh, I want to talk about this real quick. Eldaris. By the way, Gaarawarr, about the 10,000 event currency chests, they have a purpose. If you open a time gate for a champion formerly available in the current event, you can buy gear for them, and that way in the shop. Yeah, and that's a bug. That's not intended usage. The developers have stated that. It's a bug in the favor of the players, so it's not high priority for them to fix, but that's not the way things are supposed to work. Also, new players that's a noob trap. The 10,000 event currency chest is a bit of a noob trap in general, the fact that it exists and doesn't just show up. They should have a grace, in my opinion, they should have a grace period for a couple days after an event ends. And that should be when those chests show up in the shop, because that's the only time you should ever buy them. But yeah, it's not supposed to be that way. You're actively, I'm not going to use the bad word for it, but it is. You're actively using a bug to do something, but you shouldn't as a new player. That shouldn't be where you should be. That's such a waste of your event currency. It's very rare that a past champion is going to be better than any of the new champions. It does happen occasionally, but for the most part, you should just be collecting the current champions, and then use time gates to get those out to get gear for the other ones, or patron chests. The only people that benefit from that 10,000 event token thing bug are people who have bajillions of event tokens available because they've got so many gems. They get so many bounty contracts that, and it's like that's a whole different game than what I'm trying to explain to people here. It's a game that the very tiny portion of the population plays, so it's not something that the average player would ever have to think about. And at some point they're gonna fix that bug, and then everybody's gonna complain. But it was a bug. It's always been a bug. Stout Crusher, trying to unlock my first patron. Are silver chests or gold chests better to try to level equipment? Silver chests will give you item levels faster, but honestly, just early on so there's a time early in the game where you buy silver chests, and you only buy silver chests until you have at least minimum green items on all of your core and evergreen champions. And from that point on, you should really just be buying gold chests. It's going to get you more overall progress. It may take a little bit longer to get you to that 2,000 item levels to unlock Mert. But you're getting so much else along the way that you really need. Potential epics, feats, lots of potions and contracts. Yeah, do that. Do that. Do that instead. Just do the gold chests. Foolish Genius 89. Is there a Nova and Tiangon familiar Easter egg? I don't know. Let's find out. I mean, if there is, it may not even be the same Easter egg as. There's one familiar champion Easter egg interaction in the game. I don't see it. No, it doesn't trigger as the other interaction. If you want to know what the one familiar champion interaction in the game is, you're going to have to ask Mars. Because I will not do it. It brings my arch nemesis. This is a gag joke bit, running gag jokes, folks. It brings my arch nemesis into the game, and I will not allow them. I will not suffer their presence on my stream. Mars will tell you though. Moku Jin Zergman, how to know how many tokens of the Departed Kit has without giving him level 50? Oh, you mean without leveling him up? You can't. You've got to get to level 50 to make that active and then come over here and look. That's just the way this game works. You can't access the information on a character without leveling the character up to the point where that ability is active. That's just not a thing. It's not Volo though, but yeah, that'd be even worse. It's not Volo or Van Richten, those hacks. Bloody Meadow, could you please put 6 familiars in the field? Chat me or try to click the distractions. Thank you. No, it's a mini game. It's a mini game. You got to try to click them. Oh, jeez. I was thinking at some point we might be able to get past this boss here. Let's see. Come on. There he is. There's the masked man. I do not have enough champions out here to try to deal with him. No, it wasn't bad. It was a pretty good attempt. I mean, for no tanks and no crowd control, we almost did it. I almost got there. Yeah, we're dead. We're dead. Now, again, the easy way to do this, let's see. Let's get some armor ablation. Gaarawarr has armor ablation, which lets you chew through, it lowers the armor threshold. It's not an armored though. Hold on, I don't need that. I'm changing my mind. I want Human. If it was an armored boss, we would want Gosrick. But he's hit based, so we just want Human in here. And we've got Esmeralda. I mean, that should be enough, right? So Human in the middle. If the boss has hit-based or armor-based health, successful attacks restore twice as many segments. Hey, guess what? That's what Esmeralda does, too. So, this time we should just be able to blow right through it. Question for chat. Maybe Gaarawarr currently using a Shard and a current bond stacks are showing a 0. It's a bug. Yeah, put in a ticket. Just the more tickets they get for something. I'm of the belief the more tickets they get for something, the higher priority they try to fix the bug. That's usually how things work with most companies. So there we go, folks. He didn't even get to us and he's gone. So if you're having trouble if you have Human, you're picking up Esmeralda in this event, and you're having trouble with the Masked Man, I recommend that. I also recommend, like, say, let's come back over here. Who do I have? I was about to say Hitch, but Hitch is in this slot. Like Ashara's got multi-hit. Here, we'll just put Ashara in. Potpourri. Ashara's got multi-hit as well. So, and because these are hit-based, as you can see, we hover over it, it's 50 HP. Ashara is going to get extra credit. See how we just buzzsawed right through that? Ashara is going to get extra credit for every one of her little missiles that hit. So, yeah. When it's a hit-based boss and not armored, as long as everyone, if you have a lot of people in that do multi-hits, you chew through stuff real quick. So we could also throw Farida in. Now she's not going to get the extra credit from Human and... well, she might get it from Human. Yeah, she'll get it from Human, but not from Esmeralda. But see how quickly everything is just going away? Multi-hit with these extra credit champions works. Why are you so mean? That's not fair. Yeah, I'm not mean. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna let the tutorials fly. Or the familiars fly. Distractions, that's what it is. The familiars are taking some time off. So yeah, if you want to kill the masked man quicker, here's one way to do it. If you don't have Human, just throw Hitch in with Esmeralda. I mean, those two are gonna. Hitch has bouncing daggers. And so the more daggers you give him, the more it bounces like that, and it just destroys things. Because for whatever reason, the dagger can bounce and hit the same enemy. Because video game. All right, folks, that's going to be it. I'm off. On the way out, we're going to listen to Brig's song. The show will always go on. The song for Brig Hellclaw from Bardic Inspiration. And again, you can join me in about an hour. This is the last of the streams for the weekend on this channel, though. So return Monday. They put their schedule up on the Discord and tweet it out on the Twitters. But yeah, stream should return on Monday. Thanks, folks. Have a great weekend.
Brig Hellclaw, the dragon charmer, the only bond you'll ever need. Brig Hellclaw, the heart disarmer, just rode in on your lover's steed. In the shadows he moves unseen, while on stage he takes the lead. Brig Hellclaw, that bearded strummer, don't forget to buy him mead. Deep below Mount Tiamat, his words disarm the worms. Sneaking in the dark of night to steal your heart for sure. In the light he'll make things right, and you love him even more. Brig Hellclaw, that rakish siren, spinning tales of distant shores. The show will always go on, but he never forgets his mission. Not just to bard. Watch out for what he has in store. He's in your town for one night only. Be sure to bring your gold. Sit yourself down and drag a flag and enjoy the stories told. Writing songs of friends and foes, his music warms your soul. Brig Hellclaw, the storyteller, songs will make you whole. The show will always go on, but he never forgets his mission. Not just to sing or strike a chord, but to leave them wanting more. Brig Hellclaw, that roguish bard, watch out for what he has in store. Brig Hellclaw, the storm runner, may he live forevermore. Brig Hellclaw, that bardish rogue, the crowd demands an encore.